the husband of the late Dr. Fred Cordell, is also founded the organization that founded October as Filipino American History Month. And 2022 was the 40th anniversary. We currently have over 40 chapters. Okay, next one. This is Uncle Fred and Auntie Dorothy. That's what they call Uncle Fred and Auntie Dorothy. You know, being Filipino, we always name our elders uncle or auntie. That's part of our culture. Okay, next. The goal of Fanhs is to promote understanding, educate, enlighten, appreciate, and enrichment through the gathering, identification, preservation, dissemination of the history and the culture of the Filipino Americans in the United States. Next one. This is what I want to emphasize. No history, no self. This is from Uncle Fred. Everybody doesn't have to be a hero. Everybody doesn't have to be famous. Each person who is Filipino American to me is very, very important as a story. Our stories are really in our people. It's not so much what the achievements are as much what is the story itself, Fred Cordova. That's why we must share our stories. And you know what? Sometimes they forget about our stories. So that's why we're here, so they don't forget it. And over a period of time, they've been including in the curriculum. For example, the labor great strike, part of that move, where we part of the curriculum. The Filipinos involved in World War II, now part of the curriculum. Before, they said nothing. They didn't talk about they talked about the bombing of Pearl Harbor, but never the bombing of Manila and the Bataan Death March. Next one. October is Filipino American History Month, and this is because of the landing at Morro Bay of the first document in 1587. If you go to Morro Bay, there's actually a site there you can go. Okay, if you get a chance, if you want to get cool, that's a good place to go. Yes? Now, it's Filipino American History Month, not Filipino history, Filipino heritage, but Filipino American History Month. Because what they did is like, history is more inclusive of culture and traditions. It's inclusive of that. That's why it's called Filipino American History Month. Okay, next one. Go on.
All right, pass out your cards. We know who you are.
Okay, last year's theme celebrated our history. It was 50 years of Filipino American studies, 40 years of Filipino Fanhs, and 30 years of Filipino American history. And in 2023, they looked at the
Open door.
Harris. Okay,
Somebody
next
open it.
one. Okay, if you look at the posters, those are the 4 waves of Filipino immigration. There are actually 4 parts. There are actually 4 parts. And I want to thank Erwin, stand up, Erwin. Erwin Mina, from the museum, and he's got information if you want other stuff. Basically, the first wave was a document. People say, where are you from? I don't think you don't belong here. No, we are here since 1587. We jumped ship to Morro Bay. We are part of the Manila galleon trade. So that's why this date is really critical. The second wave, the Manos, the Sacadas, the Pensionados, the Esqueros. 1945, post-World War II. A lot of the people are here because of post-World War II. I'll go more in detail. And finally, note that 1763 was also the first settlement in Louisiana. Okay, next one. I want to go through this real quickly. Okay, that's the Spanish galleon trade. That's because of the way the trade routes, they wound up in Manila across the way. Some jumped ship, and that's where they landed in Morro Bay. And that's why the Morro Bay Rock is where we talk about Filipino American history at the start. The next one. Okay, the second wave, they were known as nationals, and they were called themselves Pinoys. They allowed them to travel. They lived the American dream, okay? And then there was a lot of hardship. They were not allowed to vote, and they were out there miscegenation laws.
I didn't touch anything.
Oh no, I just.
Okay.
And then they came to an immigration status they pursued, and then we'll start with this next one. The Pensionados were the first people that came. They because of the education system in the Philippines, a lot of came to the United States to go to college. And some of your parents, if you're not aware, actually dads came here to go to college. And some were actually sent from their hometowns. They were known as the pen boys. So the Pensionados were formerly sent from the Philippines, whereas the pet boys were sent from regions in the Philippines and the United States. That's a really interesting story. Next one. And they went back to the Philippines. Now the second wave are the laborers. Okay, this is Roger's family. They got a yellow picture right there. They were laborers. Next one.
Oh.
And they experienced anti-miscegenation laws, so no interracial marriages. In fact, some of them actually, the Fruta family were here. Some of them were Mexican Filipino, and they actually left California to get married in New Mexico, things like that. And something they don't talk about, like there's discrimination, anti-sentiment, job discrimination, anti-Semitism, rights, Exeter, Watsonville, Yakima, Washington. They did not want us here because of the fact, for a lot of different reasons, okay? Next one. But now the Monos are the California agricultural migrant workers. Alex is that.
Good looking guy.
Yeah, and Marvin the Bonos, right, the family member. I just start pulling pictures, okay? So that's why
Good looking.
next one, okay. The Monos. And then from the Monos, they were known as older brother, hermano for brother, and given the Filipinos work at Menial. That's my uncle and his family from the Visayas, okay?
I don't know what's going on.
Next
How come it's doing
The cicadas. Irwin had a great speaker that went to Stockton. Romel de la Cruz was his dad was a cicada, and he worked in Hawaiian plantation. Very interesting. Like initially, a lot of the Visayas went to Hawaii to work in the plantation, but then a lot of them left to come to the United States, and then the people they started recruiting were the Ilocanos, which became the other part of the group. So that's why when you talk, it depends which wave you were in terms of Hawaii. Next one. The Lesqueros. I think Dad, Alex, was your dad a Lesquero?
Yes, he was.
So he actually went to Alaska to work there. My dad was interesting. He worked in the fields, he was a Lesquero, he did all that stuff. So be aware of it. A lot of them work in the canneries in Alaska, okay? Okay, next one, please. Most famous Monos, Philip Veracruz, Larry Leon, and Delano celebrated, Delano Fanhs celebrated the 50th anniversary. That's what that was. Okay, next one. The Delano Monos from Larissa Arroyo, when you get a chance, actually did the film, and there is a plaque that dedicates the community hall. We're still working on where it goes, but there's actually a plaque there, okay? Okay, next one.
Oh, sorry.
And the third wave also talks about the military. This is really interesting. This is the sign that they did to recruit the Filipinos to the United States to fight World War II. Next one.
Oh, I want that in a t-shirt.
Yeah. Let me know. Yeah, remind me. Okay, from that, the immigration increased to 100 a year, not a lot. And past World War II, sent towards Filipinos changed. And Philippines was granted independence in the United States July 4th, 1946. Come on in. Sorry. A lot of your family members are first and second infantry. This is where they naturalize them in mass to Camp Beale. And they were Laguna Una, always first in Tagalog. These are the veterans, first and second, right? Next one. The Bataan Death March is something they don't talk about. Like when they bombed Pearl Harbor, they also bombed Manila. Then they also were bombing because the Philippines was critical. They needed to take it over in order because that was too close to Japan. The Filipinos held out. And then holding out, they're part of the Bataan Death March. And now that the United States, World War II, the U.S. history now includes the Filipino Americans involvement in World War II. And it's in this specific framework, and that's what that is. So this is the Bataan Death March. Next one. Then the Congressional Gold Medal for the Filipino world. We worked on that in Delano. Right, next one. These are all the family members, your dads, and there's one mother there that was under World War II. I like to spend the time here because this is what we're honoring right now. And there's the names up there. Next one. And then the wave 3 and the war rise. Does this picture look familiar? Chris, does it look familiar? Chris?
Oh, yeah. That's our.
Basically, those are the mothers who raise your children. These are the war brides.
Yeah.
This is why we're a lot of us
My
are
mom's
here.
right there underneath Mrs. Escalona.
See, like, only can point out when your mom, you probably can find your mom in the picture. That's why we like this picture, because you can say, that's my mom, that's where they're at. Okay, next one. They entered the United States and they were exempt from the immigration quota. Okay, there were 1,500 Filipinos and women in 1940, and then 1950, 51, 41. The numbers increased once they had the war brides, their family occurred. That's the reason why you see a major jump in Delano. Okay, next one. And Carlos Rommel, Colonel Rommel visited Delano. He actually dedicated the Filipino Community Hall. So there's some strong history behind it. Something we need to know, like the Filipino Community Hall is one of the bastion of Filipino involvement. Okay, let me keep going through it quickly, okay? Okay, the Immigration Act of 1960 resulted in increased immigration, especially from Asia and Latin America. 20,000 Filipinos were allowed to immigrate per year to the United States. A lot of them were medical professionals, medical field, reunified members, people escaping the Marcos dictators, refugees from the Mount Pinatubo, those were in the military, and they formed the families which you see in Delano, Rich Grove, and Early Mark. And again, there was family unification. This is where, because of the military, the military also, and the nurses, the educators, and medical field, okay? And this is what I want to emphasize, forging the Filipino-American identity. The time frame marked the time where the Filipino-American identity gained significant traction. Filipino studies began during this time at the Bay Area. Filipino students organizations formed and students became activists. Filipino students protested Delano for the Delano Great Strike, the Marcos regime, the I-Hotel eviction, the Veterans' Rights, the Rescission Act, the Filipino language movement. They helped build a Biani village. And you know what? Roger, what do?
Philippine weekend.
Philippine weekend. It was these guys, Erwin, the Belarus sister, a band with Max, Domi with the play, you know. That's what happened here, and that's why the story needs to be told. And I want you to emphasize, it was the youth movement. Got it? I don't like using youth movement because technically, I don't know, because it's kind of...
We were in our 20s.
We were in our 20s.
We were in our 20s.
I can't believe you were.
Yeah, next one.
Jeez.
And then the next video is I'm going to show is from ARP. It's called, if you get a chance, it's called A Filipino-American Story. And I want to do it real quickly so you get it's like a 6-minute. Have anybody ever seen this one? Okay. The reason why I was part of the production of doing that, like I get pictures, it's all animation, but I want to make sure you get a chance to watch it. It's A Filipino-American Story. It's by AARP, The Next Day Better. It's something you should, especially those of you who are young kids out here, and you act like, what does it mean to be Filipino? That's what it is. So I'm going to start this video. Hopefully you can hear it.